Three, two, one, and welcome back again. We're almost to the 20 mark, bro. We're almost to the 20
Yeah,
mark, you know.
I know, I
I
know, I
can't
know.
wait to till we get to that point where like shit like 300 of them. Yeah, you know. And we don't need too much production on it, but if we can get a little oomph at the beginning, that'll be great, man.
Yeah, I know.
And so
We're
next
working on it.
yeah. No worries, man. No worries. Still, what's important is the content, not the rapping. You know, some people have
For
like a
real.
nice rapping. You know, here's this the bow and all this stuff and the
There's all the
sprinkles,
glitter,
right? Yeah, the bling bling and shit, dude.
and then
And
there's no flavor inside. Just bare,
no,
it's just a lot of glitter. There's nothing in the middle.
no substance, kind of like modern society, man.
Yeah.
You know, but again, I don't want to down on modern society because I don't want to be one of those uh anti-humanist, anti-human. You can't
Mm.
be. You can't be.
You
Even
can't be anti-human because we're human. And what are they doing? Are they fighting the cause of humanity, or are they going against it? So who is the anti-human?
exactly. But you know, that's a trend right now that you see like on you know, a lot of comments on many of the media outlets and stuff, the social media outlets, where it's like, yes, human beings are the most destructive and this doesn't human beings need to be gone and all this, and it's very prevalent in this era, bro. You know,
Hmm?
it's very prevalent. This despond made out of it comes out of this despondency of humanity, and
Yeah.
I think that's just as bad as the forces that are causing the chaos and disharmony in our current situation, and it's really easy to get trapped into that, you know, because
Mm.
when you get trapped into that, some people that if they were to have any little bit of power, those people become very dangerous because they take it upon themselves the responsibility to destroy humanity, mate.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and I don't think, although we are going through some struggles right now, and this whole thing that, you know, the new fear right now, I still think that a lot of it is just it's in my opinion, call it conspiracy theory or whatnot. It's supposed this is they want this to happen, and number two, they want to keep us in that state of fear, as we've talked before, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and for people to constantly look at the world and see that, oh, it's just there's too many of us, and so we need to accept that, you know, we need to get rid of a large portion of us, which
Mm.
is bullshit, because this mathematician, quite a few mathematician actually, but I think I forgot the name. Or I'll look it up and then I'll send you the link and we'll talk about it on the next one. But you can take the whole population of the planet and put it in the state of Texas, and everybody has enough land in a house to have space from each other, mate.
Mm. It's crazy. You know, also I think it's coming down to philosophies as well.
Ah,
Not without being like a conspiracy theorist or anything. I believe they said back in the days everybody used to go over to Africa to get their wisdom and stuff. You know, Timbuktu, the first institution, and
ah,
before it was in Africa that people had the power. You know, but they ruled in a different way. It was more of they were willing to share their information. So if you came all the way from Europe to Africa, they won't try and bind you in chains. They would be happy that you came over to seek their advice, and they will give you all the knowledge, and you go back to Europe and you have all these new philosophies. And
yes,
then the Western world. Obviously, there were some other dynasties before the Western world, but let's just jump to the Western world. So the Western world, they decided, because power does change hands, they decided, okay, we've got enough information from the institutions. We want to be the power.
mm,
And they believe that their philosophy is more inclusive, where maybe the Africans, they will share their knowledge with you, but it was with the elite Africans. You couldn't really get deep into their psyche. You could only come over as a tourist and they'll give you something. And you know, they felt good. They give you something, but it's almost like crumbs in a
yeah,
way.
like a little morsel, like a
Yes, but the real information they kept it in Africa. So the Western world, their thing was, okay, we've gathered most of this African information. Now we want to come over, take over the thing, yeah, but have a more inclusive structure where the information is not just with the Africans or the Europeans, it's all around. So that's what I think the Western philosophy is, because it's very inclusive of all cultures in a way. The conflicts only happen when the cultures collide.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? So now, the Western world has been doing their thing for a while, and as much as we complain about it, we have had many conveniences because of it. Our mobile phones.
I'm glad that I'm glad that you point that out, because look, no, this takes me back one day when I was working at a supermarket. Well, not supermarket. The family owned store. We owned a little store in the village that we worked at, and it's like the market of the town. You know, it was the biggest one. And so, you know, those were during the times where I was going through the harshness with my dad, and everything I did was just horrible. And I got a beating for just anything, just for breathing wrong.
Tell me about it.
Right? You've lived through those. And so I went to go take a dump. You know, I wanted to drop the kids off at the swimming pool. And so then I came out, and then my dad went to the toilet, and then he just it's like, I don't know what's inside of you, but it smells like you have corpses in there, and you just stink, and, you know, horrible. And so the guy that was helping us out, that worked with us, he was, you know, he's a big dude. He's a young guy, but he's a big dude, and, you know, he knew how to throw down and shit. So he would call my dad on his bullshit, and he said, dude, what is up with you? Always on this kid, dude. What? You ship flowers?
You know, exactly.
And so going back to that, a lot of people right now, you know, complaining about the Western world. That's the trend right now. All the evils in the world are because of Western philosophy.
Yeah, apparently.
And it's like, wait, you can say what? How about, you know, everybody always points about, oh, you know, the tribal societies and all the native. They killed each other.
Their problem. They had their issues too. Those societies had their problems.
They killed each other. I mean, they decapitated each other. He ate each other.
Some places they were eating each other as part of a ritual. They believe, yeah, you're gonna gain more wisdom if you ate his right elbow. You know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. And so what I have to say is, like, look, nobody shits flowers. And if we're gonna look at it, this society that's going through its major upheavals right now, is brought about tons of good shit that
makes life easy for us.
And most people right now, even though back in the days, you know, we had you know, we could grow the food and all this stuff. Not everybody owned the food, mate. People were starving. Nowhere in time in the time of human history has the access of food been so abundant and easy, dude.
Yes.
Even if it's junk food, there's just you can just go anywhere. It's everywhere, mate. And sure, there are developing countries that are having problems, but even in those countries, they still have more access than before.
Have more than they used to have when they were doing the old ways.
And they're coming up, and yeah, I think now we've gone too far to the new ways, and I think we need to embrace a little bit of the old ways with the new ways that we found to make it easier, but not alienate ourselves.
No, so that we just don't lose our human touch. That's all it is. We just don't want to lose our human touch. But then, you know, I got this Russian guy now trying to become a new power, but his philosophy is a bit dark. That's just my opinion. His philosophy is more of a martial, is more of like a primitive thing.
I think so too. And I'm glad you pointed that out. Look, I'm not into anybody's, I'm not for anybody invading any country, or for these leaders. All these leaders, all of them, they're corrupt, man. And
of course, they've all got their personal agendas.
Yes, and as much as I'm not in it. I'm not in to support what Putin is doing. That dude didn't just wake up one day and decide to be Dr. Evil from Austin Powers, bro.
Of course he didn't.
You know,
there was a bit of provocation as well.
Beyond provocation.
And he wasn't getting equality on the table. The table of leaders, when they come together, he must have been feeling like he didn't quite fit in.
Bro, they've been trying to get rid of Russia for the longest time, bro. since World War II, since before World War II. You know, General Patton or somebody, either Churchill, I forgot. I'll look it up. But they say, you know, we shouldn't stop in Germany. We should keep marching to Russia and destroy them now when we can. And this is when they were our allies, mate. And so there has been, yeah, the philosophy of communism and the philosophy of
democracy.
capitalism, because that's what it is, you know, capitalism.
Yeah, capitalism. Yes.
You know, they oppose each other, right? But
yes,
capitalism has brought about very good things. And within communism, there are good things that can be applied for the benefit of society.
yeah, for the economy of resources. That way is maybe good for economizing resources. Whereas capitalism, we're a bit more liberal with the use of resources, and we just
yes, but not just that too, like basic needs like medication and stuff like that. Because then you got the problem now, like, you know, for example, it's not so much the philosophy. There's the people who practice it. Now let me get back up a little bit. If anybody that has power under any system, absolute power, is going to go apeshit crazy with it, man, and just run with it and forget everybody else. And so, but anyway, going back to Putin, they've pushed this guy and they're trying to obliterate Russia's economy. And now, and anytime you hear like suddenly, even, you know, like CNN and Fox or all opposing media, they're on the same track now, right?
Yes.
Suddenly. And when all the medias are on the same track like that, mate, you really have to wonder what's going on behind, because everybody has the same vocabulary and they're forcing it. And now, you know, the little
this was the agenda. The agenda of taking out the Russians is always been underlying. It's always been in the background. Yeah. Even though they couldn't say it, because obviously they couldn't express it, because they know like it's going to cause some upsets in people's ears, and people are not going to like that. You know, it's like, who are you to say that we're going to take out communism? You know, if capitalism can exist, why can communism not exist? If hot exists, why should cold not exist? So it's a bit like that. But the moment they had the opportunity to attack on Russia's regime, that's why you can see the whole media. So that makes me think the media is controlled by the West. That's obviously what that means. The media is controlled by the West.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you know, this morning I got up and I looked, you know, the latest feed comes out. When you press YouTube, you get like the news, and it's talking about, you know, nuclear reactor danger now it's on fire. Nuclear reactor on fire, right? So I looked it up. I clicked it, and then in the video they said, oh, the nuclear reactor is actually not on fire, which that's great.
It's just around. It's not. Yeah,
it's just a building or something around, and there's no leakage of radiation or anything like that. But but the title, the thumbtack, bro, the title.
I saw it as well.
And so then everybody right now is on their little quotes and stuff like, or comments talking about, yeah, you know, it's real. It's already when people start shooting at the reactor,
nuclear,
and it's all nuclear and it's spilling out everywhere, and it's the wind is going to come over here and bring it. You know, and that's dangerous, mate. And this is coming, the way they word shit in the news. They already have people programmed in a certain way through fear to get triggered by certain words, man, that just.
Well, the Western world has always tried to put like a bad word for the Russians, haven't they?
Well, yeah, yeah.
Who was James Bond constantly looking for?
Yeah, the fucking Russians. But check this out. this was during the Cold War, right? And then after the Cold War, you remember.
You're still looking for the Russians.
A little bit, but it changed a little bit. It turned more into the Arabs, mate. And you could tell by the movies, because movies like one of the movies that came out, a lot of movies started coming out about terrorism and about Arabs. And so remember True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger, with Jamie Lee Curtis? Yeah, all movies very similar like that about Arab terrorism. And I remember thinking to myself, and I was a very young young lad back then. I was still like maybe 22, 23 years old. That's still a boy, mate. That's a boy. If you're
Mm-hmm.
still wet behind the ears. But I remember telling my son's mom at the time, I said, because she always thought I was a conspiracy theorist, but because I got all my shit from the music. The music talked about it. The music I listened to
Yeah.
talked about all this stuff. And so
Uh-huh.
I started thinking that way. And, I also smoked weed. When you smoke weed, your
Yeah, the
mind
brain
opens up
goes.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? And you eat a couple of mushrooms and your brain starts losing all the inhibition and starts analyzing shit in a way that you would never, you get those, what do you call that? I forgot the word.
Downloads.
Yeah, but there's a word, you get those epiphanies, man. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, 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 yeah.
you get epiphanies for 8 hours when you're shrooming and you're just like, oh, I mean,
Yeah.
you get epiphanies about your own socks, mate.
Yep.
Like, what? That's why I leave my socks in the court. Actually, my socks are not my socks. They represent this, and it makes sense, man. Yeah, you know what I mean. And so, anyway, going back to, so I told my wife at the time, I said,
Mm-hmm.
the next enemy, the new fear is going to be the terrorists, the Arabs. And she said, you're such a
Mm.
conspiracy. I was like, no, it's everywhere. All the movies, they're painting it in all the movies right now. And the language is coming out. The language, terrorism, terrorism, terrorism. Where before it was drugs,
Yes.
drugs, drugs, the war on drugs, the war on drugs, the war on drugs, the war on communism, the war on communism. And then now it's terrorism because the
Terrorism.
Russians are
Yes.
gone. And then 2002, boom, dude. This wasn't that far back when they were talking about the terrorism. It's already 1995, 1993. They're already priming people. What you got to think is that
Yes.
they'll prime you through the programming, the program, mate.
Yes. TV.
And then after that, in the middle of our so-called war on terrorism, right between that time where it started going down a little bit and people started like, really? Really? Because the
Mm-hmm.
soldiers were coming back and saying, that's a load of bullocks, mate. There's nothing. What are we doing here? So
Mm.
suddenly the movies started bringing the Russians back.
Yes. Yes. The dodgy Russians, they were calling them. The dirty Russians. And Jason Bourne and all these Jason, what's that name? Jason Statham. He's
Yes,
there
yes.
attacking the Russians. That guy, he's all action, all about the Russians.
That's right, mate. That's right. And so what's going on right now, here's the dangerous thing about that, mate, is that it's always these crusty old dudes or the few that start these wars. And I'm not the first one to say this. I'm sure it's meant, but I'll say it again.
Mm-hmm.
And they're real quick to send all the kids, people's children,
To lose their
right?
lives.
And they'll sit and talk it up really well. The American people or the Russian people, all this, and we got to fight for our people. That guy from the Ukraine too, they're making him seem like he's some hero and shit, dude. They killed all these Russian people in Ukraine before, like an ethnic kind of cleansing that was going on in Ukraine, right?
Really?
Yeah, let's look that up because I don't want to be full of shit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine kills
It's also the Western world. They as much as they've benefited humanity, they need to also not think that they're God. The Western world cannot take the position of God because power does change hands. And before they were the power to be, there was a power before them, wasn't there?
Yes. Hold on. I'm looking at this. I wish we had the person like, Joe Rogan. He's got like Jamie that looks up his shit.
Yeah, there's no Jamie here.
How many? Okay. Now, let's look this up. Ukraine. Because right now, what's popping up is all what's happening in Ukraine right now. Ukraine, ethnic. Let's look at this.
And that president of Ukraine, he used to be an actor. He was a comedian.
Killing who? The president.
The president. Yeah, Zelensky.
You know, all these new leaders are buffoons, bro. I mean, look at
Yeah, he was a comedian. He was an actor, comedian, very popular, and then he won the election with 70% of the votes.
Just like, you know, what's the name of your leader right now in England? I always forget.
Oh, Boris Johnson.
That guy looks like what is wrong with that guy? He doesn't. Could you? If I saw that guy walking down the street, I think that guy has some issues, dude.
Yeah, he's a bit out there still.
Okay, crime, genocide. Let's see. 2014.
Yeah, that's when the Russians tried to attack them.
Crime, genocide, use of and abuse political rhetoric in Russia, Ukraine. Powerful oligarch between Ukrainian authorities to tell he was backing up from separatist, pro-Russian separatists in Ukraine provinces. I'm gonna look this up. So for now, because other people are gonna be listening to this, from what I heard is that there was some killing of Russians in Ukraine way before, where they try to wipe them out, mate. So I'm gonna look at that up. So what I'm pretty much talking about is like they're making the guy right now like he's some hero. Look, he's in the front lines and all this. That guy's no squeaky clean either. I mean, I hear there's some pretty wicked shit going on over there, that they're pretty like, they did some crazy shit against the Indian population too, like not Indians like Native American Indians, like Indians from India.
Oh, the actual Indians, yeah.
Like the Indians they don't love Ukraine too much. You know, so again, that's
what I'm saying. With power, there's always corruption, and then when there's a common enemy, it's easy to think everyone else is a saint, and then all of a sudden Putin's the devil, and now Zelensky's a saint. But before Putin was attacking Russia, I'm sure they had their issues.
This is long from before, mate. And now if you look at the border with Russia, I mean, could you imagine right now if remember when Russia tried to put those missiles right in Cuba, the Bay of Pigs?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The reason for that though was because the US had some missiles in Turkey, dude.
Yes.
You know, so for the US to pull out of Turkey, they came and, you know, they were going to pull that there, but the US didn't like that too much. You know, could you imagine right now, because Mexico used to belong to Texas and Arizona and all that used to belong to Mexico. So can you imagine if the Russians made a good deal with Mexico? It's like, yeah, dude, we'll help you out. Oh, come and help us out, you know, because
and take your territory back.
And then, you know, we're going to put some missiles right on the border with Mexico, and the US is not going to stand for that, man. Yes. I tell you this much, the US will fucking launch missiles in a heartbeat, dude.
Yes.
They don't fuck around when it comes to that shit. So as much as I don't support any of those dudes, man.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. They've been inching closer to Russia, and now he's just got wind that they're having talks about joining the Nato.
Yeah.
About Ukraine joining NATO, and Putin said it years ago. He's ready to leave Ukraine to be a sovereign state as long as they can never join NATO. They can never join the EU. That's what he said. And then now he's hearing talks about, yeah, we're thinking about joining the NATO. So he's thinking, you know what? Fuck all that, yeah. Before we even get to the state.
So they made a contract about that.
Oh, they did.
Okay. Do you know what I mean? So no, mate. And
did they?
No, I don't know.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, they were approaching those talks. So basically, Ukraine promised Russia they're not going to join the NATO, they're not going to join the EU.
Yeah, but
just leave us to be Ukraine. Was
it a verbal agreement, or was it a formal document?
It had to be verbal somehow.
Okay. Well,
so obviously the Ukraine is now thinking I know we promised Russia this, but we need to progress in our life, and What's Russia got to do with our progression? You know, when people start getting a bit, they start forgetting their old promises that they made, because now maybe their boots are getting a bit bigger, you know, or maybe their pockets are getting a bit fatter. So they're thinking, you know what, forget the promise we made to Russia. We need to think about our people. So Russia's thinking, hang on a minute, you can't join NATO, because that means the Americans are going to have missiles in Ukraine, which is right on our border.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at
that was what he said.
Yes. Ukraine holds 395 million barrels of proven oil reserves for 2000, ranking it the 51st in the world and accounting it for about, let's see, is Ukraine oil rich? Let's see. Overview: Ukraine is an important transit country for supplies of oil and natural gas from Russia to countries throughout Europe. So they pass through there, and if they join the NATO right here, they're trying to cut that supply from Russia.
And cut their money. No, the supply will still be with Russia, but they're going to cut their money, because now you have to go through one of our countries to get your gas to the rest of Europe.
Really?
Because Ukraine will no longer be Ukraine; it will be an American sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I heard recently that they found some other shit in U.S.
nuclear waste. There's nuclear waste there from years before, and I think the nuclear waste has been, you know, fermenting in its own way.
What I hear is that recently they plan to, not just the money, but they plan to cut Russia for being the main supplier in England,
of gas,
in Europe, and then and by getting Ukraine, they'll be able to do that. They'll just cut off all their shit and to be able to have access
to the gas.
To the gas. Well, not just access to the gas, but also, since it is Ukraine, it'll be part of NATO. Yeah, they will be controlling the access, and they'll be able to dictate policies about dealing with their gas.
And how can they be doing that all the way from America? How can they be doing that from America? I mean, that is a bit crazy.
Well, and once they realize, okay, it's too expensive for us to go through here, then they just go somewhere else for gas and cut Russia out. And
and Russia's thinking, no, you can't do that to us.
Nah, mate. And again, for anybody that's out there, I just have very light an overview knowledge. If I have mistaken any other things, you know, I'm trying to get as much knowledge as possible. And so, ladies and gentlemen, start reading more. I suggest you get books, because if you don't have the internet, most people don't have books anymore. It's good to get books. Start reading, read your history, read history from both sides.
Read your history, read the relationship between Russia and the Western world. Read the World War I, World War II, and find out reasons for the wars, and find out the reasons why Russia is the way they are, why America is the way they are, why UK is the way they are, why Europe, you know, find out how all these organizations came to be.
Yes.
And then you might understand this situation a bit better.
And normally, I don't really like to get too much into politics here, and I'm not choosing any sides, but I definitely, because I say that, I just, something smells, you know, the fish has gotten rotten. Yeah, you know, the milk spoiled, and I'm not buying it. And what we're getting to is like, beware of the fear. The fear it never stops. So this is the new fear. So who knows what's really being worked in the background to move the world, society closer, humanity closer to that point where they want us to be, or society to be. You know,
society is the machine that they're driving.
And so it's a very dangerous situation too, because what's the name of those stones? Not the Rosetta Stones. Stones in US that say population should be something silly like 50 million or something. Population control. Nobody knows who. The Georgia Guidestones. Okay, do you know about the Georgia Guidestones?
No.
Okay. Nobody knows how to interpret Doomsday Stonehenge. That's what they call them, the Georgia Guidestones.
And Stonehenge. That's in UK.
Yeah, but this is what they call the Doomsday Stonehenge. Is a nickname
Oh,
for the Georgia Guidestones. And the Georgia Guidestones are a granite monument erected in 1980 in Elbert County, Georgia, in the United States. A set of 10 guidelines inscribed on the structure in 8 modern languages, and a shorter message is inscribed at the top of the structure of 4 ancient language scripts. Now, let me show you what the 10 guidelines for humanity is. And one of them is cutting the population down to like a really small amount. Dude, the US got some crazy shit, bro. They got some okay, the scripture explanation of tablets, further history, the 10 guidelines. I'll look them up because I want to read them. And they're freaky, bro. They're really freaky. I'm gonna put the share screen right now, okay? So let me get
okay,
you can go ahead and keep talking, mate, while I pop up Google.
okay.
So well, yeah,
it's
because
crazy times we're in now. Sorry?
no, yeah, go ahead. It is crazy times, man. Keep it
It is
going.
crazy times, and we just came out of the COVID, and then now it's World War III is on the brink.
Yeah, something
But
new.
that's what I'm saying. We can't just follow the narrative of what they're telling us because they've got their own agendas. So who's to blame? Who's the judge? Who's right? Who's wrong? It's just two evils, and who's the greater of two evils?
Yeah, and it's funny because people just, as much as we were getting inundated by the COVID thing, right? Like, oh, vaccine, blah blah blah, and all this, and it's so deadly, and the virus, this, the new mutation, and all this. After 2 years, I think people had enough of that bullshit. You know what I mean?
Are you sure that the virus is not an anti-nuclear thing? Yeah, in preparation for Putin's nuclear attacks.
Yeah, and who knows? Who knows? That's what I'm
Who knows?
saying.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do you know he's not anti-nuclear antidote to at least reduce the effects of nuclear because they're anticipating a nuclear attack?
Or here's what it is. They can use one issue to mask what's coming. Because suddenly now, boom, we've been so busy with the virus.
With COVID.
And
now Putin has just sprung up on us.
Suddenly we got this, right? Okay, we go. Georgia.
And also what I was saying at first, when it first happened, I said, yeah, obviously Putin has been watching the state of Western men on TikTok. And he thought this is the right time to strike.
Right.
You've seen all the men dancing on TikTok, afraid of their women. Putin thought, yeah, there's not going to be much resistance, so let's give it a go.
With all the lady boys. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my god. Okay. Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna put share screen. The Georgia Guidestones. These are freaky, bro. And obviously, and they take care of this monument, bro. Okay.
Yeah, because who knows? Maybe that's where they got the rules of leadership from.
Okay, here we go. Share screen. We're gonna pop up right now. Okay. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna move your screen a little bit. Okay. If you look at the right, you see the right here. Look at those stones right there.
Yes.
On Wikipedia. Okay. Now they're a mystery. Like, people are trying to figure out who built those, right? Okay. Now it says here, the Georgia Guidestones are a granite monument erected in 1980 in Elbert County, Georgia, in the United States. A set of 10 guidelines is inscribed on the structure in 8 modern languages, and a shorter message is inscribed at the top of the structure in 4 ancient scripts. The monument stands at an approximate elevation of 750 feet above sea level, about 90 miles, 140 kilometers, east of Atlanta, 45 miles. Let's get over that. One slab stands at the center with 4 arranged around. Okay, now let's get down. Okay, in June 1977, a man using the pseudonym R.C. Christian approached the Alberton Granite Finishing Company on behalf of a small group of loyal Americans and commissioned the structure. Okay, he had a pseudonym, so nobody knows who this guy. Christian explained that the stones would be function as a compass, calendar, and clock. So they bought this stuff, right? In secret, but check this out, okay? Here's the inscriptions. When the stones were recently the stones were vandalized in 2014. People said bullocks did. Okay, a message consisting a set of 10 guidelines or principles is engraved on the Georgia Guidestones. Here we go. Number 1, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. 500 million, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, these were erected in 1980. Okay, so that's why I'm
1980.
saying, yeah, that's why I'm saying that it's very dangerous. This anti-humanist thing that they're getting us into, programming us with all the despondency that we're experiencing in the world. It's a really good way to come and freaking start smashing us like flies. Number 2, guide reproduction. Dude, guide reproduction wisely. Improving fitness and diversity.
So that's interbreeding. I don't understand what they mean by fitness, though.
You know, like, well, fit, and you don't want to have people, you know, weighing 300 pounds, you know, McDonald babies. So, okay, here we go. Unite humanity with a living new language, dude. One
English.
tongue, like Babylon, bro. You know, check this out.
But English is that language now, isn't it?
It's getting close to that. Okay. Number 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Okay. In other words, you can see by the way the new human beings, you know, the new boys, it's like people look,
and they're questioning the Bible, and they're questioning the Quran, and they're questioning all the laws from previous generations. That's what they mean by that.
Yep. Here's the next one. Okay. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's what goes on.
But you know, the rest of so far, the ones before that, I don't care how just and fair those laws are in courts. It depends who the courts and what is just, but those who dictate what justice is. But anyway, that doesn't appear evil. It's just part of the whole package of the new society.
This is capitalism. This is capitalism.
Yeah. Let's check out number 6.
This is the capitalism guidestone. Sorry.
Yep. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court.
Yeah, what do you mean a world court? United Nations.
Yeah, but
that's what they're doing already.
But who exactly? And who says it's just whoever controls the court is going to deem what justice is?
Yes, okay. UN. That's what they have the UN for.
Here we go. Avoid petty laws and useful officials. Well, I mean, you can
officials.
You can start doing that right now. You know, get rid of all the balance personal rights with social duties. Sounds a little bit
yeah, that sounds like your working society.
Like, well, it sounds like socialism.
If you're tying your personal to social, that's society-driven machine. So your personal rights are tied directly to your social duties. What if you don't want to have social duties? What if you just want to have natural duties?
Bro,
so you see, this is a society-driven machine here. This has got nothing to do with nature.
It's very exactly. Okay, it's a very controlled society. Is what it is.
Yes.
Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Okay.
Come on, man. Why are you gonna do that? Why are they gonna do that?
If you're gonna seek harmony with the infinite, you can't be saying that we're trying to,
to depopulate the place to 500,000 to 500 million,
and control.
Balance personal rights with social duties, and you're not telling us to prize the truth.
And not just that, like guide reproduction.
Yeah. So where is the truth?
because God said, "Be fruitful and multiply, food."
Exactly.
And last one, be not a cancer on the earth.
Oh my God,
Leave room
hypocrites.
for leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. So what they want to do again, what they want to do is that
Okay.
they want here's what's dangerous about this. And I love nature, bro. And obviously I'm moving to nature. But you know the trend right now with what they call the Great Reset, the fourth Great Reset, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to right now. There's this new thing that says, "Hey, in the new future, right now, you will own nothing and be happy." So what they're trying to do is take control of all the land and leave no access for people to go to nature and move everybody to the cities, mate.
No, forget that.
And I'll send you the links of this new talk, this new babble about you will own nothing and be happy. You know, it's very kind of scary talk because of what they're trying to do. They're trying to prevent people from getting access to the mountains and stuff like that. Like it's going to be forbidden for all of it. It's going to end up being like Blade Runner. You know the movie Blade Runner, mate?
Mm.
Just living in that really like dystopian kind city, you know.
And they say, be not a cancer on earth, leave room for nature. Leave room for nature, and you want to take us away from nature?
Yeah. You can't do that. But anyway, this is something that is real. There's no conspiracy. Check it out. Boom.
Oh.
You see it?
Yeah.
That's wicked, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I didn't know. And hold on. And so some
How
people.
do you not be a cancer on earth and you're leaving those guidelines?
And check this out. Some people went and vandalized this. Here we go. You will not succeed. Death to the New World Order. Dude,
Yeah.
this is it's crazy what's going on right now. And so here, let me stop sharing screen.
How dare they say leave room for nature with all those laws that they just put there?
And so
where is the space? Where is the space for nature with all what you just do, with all those things they just listed there? Where's the space?
At the end,
if you was leaving space for nature, you would leave it. That means you would not try to control it. You would leave space for nature because nature has its own intelligence.
Just leave it alone. And I think the fear that I have, not fear, but the concern that I have is that this is a great way to just suddenly just start obliterating people, right?
And then yes, I mean 500 million. That means they can start killing people.
And then get to that point and say, like, you see, the reason why this happened is because there were all these people and we couldn't get along, and so now we're just gonna. What it is,
and it was too taxing on the resources. There was not enough food to feed us all.
Do you know how much food there is, mate? Do you know there's so much food that the wealthy countries, it costs more to store it that they actually dump it in the ocean, bro.
But there's one thing I will say though, it is dangerous if we overpopulate.
But we're not.
It's dangerous because it's going to be dangerous to other animals.
Yeah, but we're not there. It's just the distribute. It's the way we're administrating shit because of our present economic system. You know, it's the economic system that we use has to be in accordance with nature, but we're not even close to overpopulating the planet, mate.
Well, how exactly, and how could we be in accordance with nature? Look, nature used to regulate. The lions will never overpopulate. You know the reason why? And I chose to use lion because they're the apex predator. If I say something like antelope, obviously they're not overpopulating because the lions are eating them. You know, so I said something like lions. The reasons why the lions will not overpopulate is because there's a certain number of antelopes they can eat. There's a certain number of water that they have access to without disturbing other tribes. So nature has its own way of regulating population according to resources, okay? Yeah. Now with us, we pointed out earlier, look at the access we have to food, whether it's junk or not. Why are we not going to overpopulate? There's food everywhere. There's water everywhere. What's left is for people to have sex. That's all that's left is for people to have sex and reproduce.
For people to bone down, dude. You know.
No, think about it.
Yeah,
If we was
yeah.
living in natural conditions,
yeah, that's
living in natural conditions, we would not be overpopulating because
No,
there'll be only so much food, only so much water, only so much
Well,
that you
not just
can, only
that.
so many kids you can look after.
Well, we gotta struggle more. You know what I mean? We gotta go out.
Exactly. So
You
this
know?
ease of life is what is causing the overpopulation.
But it's this ease of life that's created these workers for the people the few who got on top, and so they need us. But again, now it's like, okay, they realizes it's not so much that we're all overpopulated in the earth. What it is that it's the population has gotten too large to control.
Yes.
So
of course that will happen.
A smaller population would be a lot easier to control.
Easier to control, yes.
Start feeding them right
yes.
now against, you see, fitness,
Valid point there. Valid
control
point
their
there.
reproduction, and half a billion people.
That would make more sense, actually, what you just said there.
Control people, yeah, they can.
Yes, that would make more sense why they want less people. Not because of there's not enough food, because it will be easier to control them.
Yeah, mate. It's like they already got what they want, and it's like, okay, now it's too many of these fuckers. It's
but then so that's why that communism that way of communism would already reduce the population. If we was living in a communist society, I'm telling you, the population will be reduced. Look at China, where they're only allowed to have one child per household.
Well, because China just had way too many people, mate.
Yes. But you see, look at the measures they put in place when it's okay, you're getting out of hand that you're only allowed one child.
Well, they're getting out of hand still, but for their system though, because they're being taxed, because China's huge, bro. It's not like they don't have any space.
Yeah, but they're still overpopulated.
Well, no, it's huge, mate, because again, if China is immense in land, it's just according
they have a lot of land.
Yeah, according to their system that they have in place, the population is too large to be able to maintain with what they have available to them through their system. But just put those motherfuckers back. You don't even have to go through communism, man. I think every philosophy has something valid in it. But you were talking about the lion, I think that makes a little bit more sense. Just once people start, if you start living with harmony, with nature's harmony a little bit more, it'll balance itself out. Okay, you don't have to the structure, the struggle. You know what I mean? We got to go.
You know what? Yesterday I was watching this thing. It was called Light as Medicine, and the doctor said, that the reason why a lot of people are getting ill is because they've come out of the circadian rhythm. When the sun rises is when you're meant to wake up, expose yourself to maximum amount of light, and when the sun goes down, you must avoid as much light as possible. He goes, that rhythm alone is why some people have got cancer, why some people have got all kinds of diseases, because they are not in tune with the sun up and sun down rhythm.
Yes, bro.
That's another thing about nature there again, you see? And the guy was saying that people have got cancer because of this.
Well, check this out. You know that a lot of the people that have gotten COVID, a large part of them have been found to have very low levels of vitamin D. You're not going outside. People aren't going outside. People aren't getting fresh air anymore. You'll go out and breathe. That's why I love the ice bath.
Yes.
Wim Hof, dude.
In the houses.
Wim Hof is awesome, bro, because of that.
Yeah, I'm going to start that as well. I'm going to start that this week.
We should start doing that, mate. We should start doing that. And I want to get a workout with you before I move out to the new house.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Get a workout together, man. Let's start.
Sure thing, man.
Anyway, we got to shoot the breeze today. Just a little concern, and we don't like to get into the politics.
Yeah, because we just want to talk about what's going on in the world today, and we're all concerned. I'm sure everybody's concerned about this. We want to know what's going to happen, what's going to be the aftermath, how far is it going to spread, how much of the rest of the world is going to be affected by this that's going on.
But also at the same time is that it's out of your control at the moment. But what's within your control is how I choose to digest the information that's out there. So don't let it shake you. Don't buy into their fear campaign.
Yes. Yes,
You know,
do not.
so what I want to see, maybe you can leave us with something positive before we go, brother love. Go ahead and give
Okay.
us that wisdom, bro.
So today I just want to leave us with something saying fear. Let's not allow fear to overcome us, you know? But have an open eye, have an open ear, and just listen to whatever is out there. Whatever goes on with the world, it affects us all. So I want us all to listen to it, but always remember that fear is what limits life. So whether they're telling us that people are dying, this is happening, that is happening, bombs everywhere, just remember to keep your own sanity and your own balance within yourself, because fear is going to reduce life. And the more you get scared of these things, the more you're going to affect your own chemistry, man. I mean, whatever's happening in the world is going to happen. Even if bombs are going to land on your head, let it happen. Just don't be scared of it. We live and we die.
That's right. As a name of a song by Metallica, old school Metallica.
What does it say?
Written by the old bass player who passed away. The name of the title, "To Live Is to Die."
Yeah, exactly. So don't be scared of it. If the bomb is going to land on your head, let it land. Even just what I'm trying to say is just don't have that mindset of fear, you know? Because look at even the Ukrainians. Look at even the Ukrainians over there. They're fighting for their country. They refuse to leave. They refuse to give in to the Russian aggression. Watch the news. These people are standing up, and that's a good example for people to follow.
Yeah,
that's the sort of strength that we need to have.
Yeah, we need to have that, and just be happy. Be happy that you have a breath, you know. And if the bomb is coming, I mean, don't run away from it. I'm gonna go meet it. I'm gonna meet it right at point zero, because I do not want to be staying around lingering with a freaking.
What's the point of running away from a bomb that's still gonna hit you?
Yeah, you know, and not just that, you know, if you're gonna be lingering around with your arm hanging off by like tendons and shit, then like, no, I don't think so, mate. Then go meet it, and
and confront it as best as you can. And if it takes you out, it takes you out. But at least it knew that you went down fighting. Yeah. And that's the spirit I'm trying to.
And I leave you with another title of a great song by Iron Maiden called "Die with Your Boots On," mate. You might as well just put you die with your boots on. So anyway, once again, we always come together to make that friction through connection, through interaction, through love, and the heat gets brighter, hotter, and eventually gives us that light to bear upon the world. Love you, mate. Cheers.
Love you too.
I will send you that. I'll send you the. I'll wait till it. I always forget.
Uploads and all that.
Yeah. I'll send you the upload. But anyway, what I'll do is I'll wait. It needs to the file needs to translate. So
okay, convert it over to a different file.
There you go. Convert. I'm really ignorant when it comes to all that techno babble, dude.
Oh, there's many ways to skin a cat. Many words to describe the same thing.
Right. All right, man. I love you, bro. Peace and love, man. Okay.
Peace and love, brother.
From the heart, mate.
Keep it jungly.
Okay, keep it jungly, mate. Bye-bye.